Welcome to Profit Channels. This is my disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and I don't give financial advice. Please consider this video entertainment. Today I'm talking about SID, or this translates into National Steel Company. This is a Brazilian company. The dividends, they're all over the place, so take that with a grain of salt. So I go down here, no earnings. You can see that quarter two was less bad than quarter one. So it's steel, mining, cement, railway, and then port and energy a little bit. And it's in Brazil, Asia, Europe, North America. Fairly leveraged. That is a problem with this company. And our forecasts, 12 analysts, it's a strong sell. So 8 hold, 4 sell, and this wild price fluctuation. Here is our monthly chart, and I've put in this channel. I really like the midpoint line on this channel. It has us coming down here. There's a gap here on the daily chart. If we're looking at our moving averages, we've got a crossover with a 50 over the 1. It's pretty negative. Everything's pointing down. And our candle on the monthly candle is, so far, it's real bearish. We're only halfway done with the month. On the weekly, you can see that when we broke down, bounced off the 200, broke down, now we keep bouncing off the 200. Our 50 and 100 met up, and then the 50 bounced lower. So everything is pointing down. I think it's interesting if I look at the gap here, so how far we got from the 200 before we reversed is very similar to how far above the 200 we got. And if we head down here to this gap, that will be also a similar distance. On the daily, we've got gaps all over the place, but there is our gap down here below. And again, this is a monthly line, so it can really be anywhere. Don't take it for being this spot. There's just too much play going from monthly to daily in these lines. So we'll look at smaller time frames, but you can see here on the daily. Whoa, what happened here? Undo. Okay. We've just been threatening, we break over the 50 and the 1 and then come back down and stay below the 50. We did it again here and here. We've got the 50 and the 100 coming together, and we just keep heading down. So we are gapped down, we're headed down, all our lines are down, but I think we're going to come down here and turn up and gather these lines and get ready for a big move up. If I go back to the weekly, I'm going to get rid of these moving averages. And we have a channel right here that we've been banging down through. The midpoint line is real nice. So this lines up to get us down here in this gap. If I go down to close that. And go to the daily. You can see that we are just heading down. And well, we also have here. Let's get this line out here. This is this terrible line here. We're going to have to break, but let me hide that. We also have an interesting channel like this. So let me close that one. So we have this interesting downward channel. So that is, we got to break that same line, but our midpoint line is pretty good. And, we can get down here, maybe around the midpoint line if I extend it. So let's look at we got the gaps. Where are my gaps? I think I deleted them. All right, so back to the weekly. Let's get rid of these channels. You can see we have a long-term point of control up here, short-term down here, and we're moving away from it. If I do a fib retracement from here, from the bottom to the top, you can see 1.68 gets us right to this gap. So that's a pretty good retracement. If I do a fib retracement, so from the bottom here to the top here, you can see these nice lines that we have. 382, the 5.618, 786. And so, that would put us back to a full retracement from the bottom to the top is what I think that's what's going to happen. So if I chart extensions based on one full retracement, like that. So I'm going to go from the bottom here to the top here, back to the bottom. Well, this bottom here, the projected bottom. So right by our gap, you can see that the 618 and the 786, definitely touching the one right here, one extension up is a nice, like that's a real sharp line there. You can see how that works through time. Here's 1618, a lot of touches. Then here's 2, and then 2, 618, 3. So this measuring from this point seems to work pretty good. If I were to extend it from the bottom to the top to what I'm predicting is the bottom, you can see this 236 works nice. This 382 works nice. Oopsie. 618. 786. It's a pretty good line, and so this is the goal here, is to get in. I think, but I'm always wrong. And then if I do a little tiny one, extension from the bottom to the top to the projected bottom, we are right trying to break through this 618 line. The 168 looks real good. The 2618 looks real good. The 3618. So I think this is a really interesting spot that we're headed for. But again, we got to break out of this channel is the first thing that has to happen, and we are not doing that. So keep an eye on it. I hope you enjoy this video, If you do, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. This is the parabolic SAR and super trend strategy on a monthly chart. And everything's bearish here. Everything's bearish here. It's becoming a little less bearish on the squeeze momentum. And our MACD is pretty bearish, but it's threatening to cross over. On the weekly, you can see that we're headed down on the RSI. Squeeze momentum's headed down, but MACD is also headed down, but we're sideways. So it's hard to see what's happening there. And finally, on the daily, everything's negative. RSI is going down, squeeze momentum is going down, and the MACD is going down. If I go to, come on, chart. All right, here we go. This is an RSI Bollinger Band strategy. And so right now we're moving away from our moving average. Our money flow index has bottomed out, but still pretty low. Our stochastic is looking terrible, and we are not in a trend per the ADX. On the weekly, you can see we're moving towards the bottom of this Bollinger Band. Money flow index is down, everything's down. And then finally, on the day, this is tightening up, and but we're heading down towards the bottom of the band. Money flow index everything's headed down on the daily, so this is really negative. And if I go to the news, this is interesting. So they say there's a lot of implied volatility in this stock. So options with high levels of implied volatility suggest investors in the underlying stocks are expecting a big move in one direction or the other. And so I'm saying it is going down. Thank you. Talk to you later.